for hiding assets after declaring bankruptcy.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. All you got to do to subscribe to the channel is just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Once you're on the video, you can see the little subscribe button at the bottom. That'll get you into the chat with us each and every day, and you'll get all the alerts when we go live here from the Ingles Studio. Like Fantasy Game Time Decisions podcast comes up every Sunday morning, all except for the holidays.
We'll have something recorded for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to be here at 10 o'clock in the morning on Christmas.
No, it's not going to happen.
I mean, I'm committed and all. I'm just not that committed.
Right. We'll make sure that you're covered in content, though. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, get us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, live or on demand. Now, we got a lot to talk about today because we could have a blizzard showing up this weekend and one very important NFL game.
We're going to get to see if Tua likes to play in the cold.
We've got Thursday Night Football tonight. It looks like...
You said it wrong. Thursday Night Football!
Looks like the new golden child, Brock Purdy, will be playing tonight. So, what is it? We're going to talk about Brock Purdy coming up later on in the program.
For once, Tank has a theory.
Yeah.
It's a Tank theory that he ran by me, and I went, yeah, that.
Yeah, that's how that works. I just, look. It's why I float things by you to make sure I'm not being ridiculous. Because when I come up with things spur of the moment, you always call me stupid. So,
no, that's not true.
We welcome everybody into the program, and let's get to it. Opening drive. Opening drive always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. You can check them out at 629 Brevard Road. Go in, and when you're in the hunt for a new vehicle or a certified pre-owned, mention our name, The Sportsocracy, and tell them we sent you. And they'll give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is worth. It's a heck of a deal just for being a part of the Sportsocracy family.
They've currently got me in a Nissan Frontier 2023, all the bells and whistles. I literally feel like I am the king of the road.
Are you getting sad because you're going to have to return it soon?
Well, I mean, that's a way to bring that down. You said it last week, and they just gave me another one.
They usually do that on Fridays, right? So,
Saturdays.
Oh,
yeah,
Saturday.
we moved that because Fridays they're a hectic day around here.
Yes.
But I've gotten very attached to this truck.
Yes.
And I just want another one. Like, let's just do that again. And all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, whole fleet of vehicles with snow in the forecast. And the temperature on Christmas is going to be 17 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Remote start really comes in handy in those times.
Yes, indeed it does. I need that. I need like a remote start to start the defroster.
Well, here's the thing. You do know you can take your car to Fred Anderson Nissan, and they'll install it.
Oh, can they?
Yes.
I'm sure they can.
Oh, yeah, and it's not nearly as expensive as you think.
They can do all the things. They can, they service my vehicle, and they'll hook you up with the family plan and all of that. All you got to do is just go by and see them at 629 Brevard Road. Yes, Thursday Night Football. Say it. I can't say it right.
Thursday Night Football.
Coming up tonight, San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Jeremy will give you his picks for the night at the end of the program today. And it's not because I saw them do it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week.
That doesn't mean much.
It doesn't mean much.
Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the Village Drum,
but
everybody gets a chance to beat it.
Yeah, well, I feel like there is going to be a concerto played tonight in Seattle, and it's not going to be by the Seahawks.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you, which makes me think that maybe I'm not looking at this the right way.
But why? But what have you seen from Seattle that makes you think that they're even in San Francisco's class at this stage of the season?
Look, the thing about the NFL is when you think you know something, it will show you to be horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas does not tend to make mistakes. This line is really low, and the money is not where you think it would be.
Really?
Really.
Sharp money's on Seattle.
Aggressively.
2-1. I don't understand. I don't understand that. I mean,
it comes back to a limited quarterback, which is what Brock Purdy is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I understand it was all well and good what he did against Tampa Bay. That defense is banged up and bad.
Yes.
It's the 3 Bs: banged up, bad, and bowls. That's enough for even the most mediocre Baker Mayfield type of quarterbacks can beat that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a thought that once you see the tape on this kid, the fact that he's athletically limited, didn't have the greatest arm, he's the stereotypical game manager quarterback. And without Deebo Samuel, can you deal with that? What nobody seems to be talking about is how loosey-goosey Geno Smith has become with the ball. 7 turnovers in 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
He had 5 in the first 9.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I said about Seattle is you can do this. You can run this Geno Smith thing where you get him out of the pocket, you run the ball well, you stay on pace. The problem is if you start turning the ball over, it takes that away, and then you look like the average team we have seen them look like the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. Lisa Ebensell in the YouTube comments says she hopes that Brock Purdy isn't a one-day stand. We've been through enough quarterbacks.
Look, San Francisco is the great rehab project of quarterbacks. We had Nick Mullins, we had C.J. Beathard, and now it's Brock Purdy. I mean, I've said this before. I'm not sure this offense isn't better with that athletically limited, high IQ, make the right throw, stay on pace quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds crazy when you say it, but we've seen Kyle Shanahan and his disciples have a little bit of a, oh, look, I have a new toy, and I have to show it to everyone when they have the big arm. And Brock Purdy's never going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
He will always be what you saw against Tampa Bay.
We got some coaching news to get into throughout the program today. I was looking at, gathering all of the just a bit outsides and all of that. There's about 5 stories that I have that could qualify for just a bit outside. So we're gonna skip around the news reel around the sports world here throughout the program.
It's also afternoon. Threadbare Thursday, which means if you have a topic you would like for us to discuss, throw that in the chat.
Absolutely.
Well, we see one that tickles our fancy, and away we go.
Exactly. It's as easy as that. So Brock Purdy tonight, San Francisco 49ers, he has been way more than they expected him to be. I was reading comments from John Lynch earlier today where he was talking about, we liked Brock. We never brought him in for a visit because we didn't want to show our hand because we figured we might be able to get him as an undrafted free agent and sign him and all of that. But we liked him throughout the draft process. And then we decided we just can't. We have to spend this last pick to get him to make sure that nobody else snags him in the undrafted free agent market. So they made it a point to draft him last because they liked him in the process. And they said since he came into the building, he's done nothing but impress everybody with his ability to absorb the offense, his ability to, keep things moving. And that's all I need you to do. That's all I need Brock Purdy to do for this team to be a championship caliber team. I don't need him to be superstar Aaron Rodgers throwing 400 yards a game and stuff like that. I just don't need it. I've got so many other weapons around him.
Well, I mean, it's easy when you've got Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. The biggest thing is knowing this kid's limitations. And we've got a slew of these quarterbacks in the NFL. Jared Goff is this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Jared Goff right now has the best weapons he's ever had in his life, and he went to a Super Bowl. That's not an irony. I've hinted at this a few times over the last few weeks. I feel like the league is turning. It's always been about the superstar quarterback. and I hinted at this when Dak Prescott signed his deal, of I would rather have a cheap game manager quarterback in the mold of Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, guys like that, than overpaying for somebody that may be more athletically gifted but takes away the weapons. Which would you rather have? Dak with CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of fours, or what you're seeing in San Francisco?
Right.
I mean, there's a reason to me one of these is a Super Bowl contender and one is not.
Right. Top flight targets with a guy who's easy on the budget.
And I don't think this is a fly-by-night thing either. You're seeing a lot of teams doing this. And as the salary cap keeps going up, because you got to understand, we're projecting a $20 million rise in the cap this year without the DirecTV deal. We don't even know what Sunday Ticket's going to look like yet. When that deal hits, shoo buddy. Now, you could see a $70 million increase in the cap in 3 years because there is a cap on how much it can go up. But there's a merit to draft well, get the pieces. Seattle, the team on the other side of the ledger, they're doing this exact same thing. It's just with a quarterback whose name you know and a team that you did not have high expectations for.
No.
Which is also why in my 3-round mock draft, we had 2 running backs go in the first round, which that gave me great anxiety.
As a guy who's not the I'm not the X's and O's guy. I'm not the tape guy. I can't sit down and watch hours of tape and break down for you why so-and-so works as a quarterback. I leave all that stuff to Jeremy because I know it's important, but I just don't have that. I call it the 3-dimensional chess brain of looking at, his stance and his mechanics and his footwork and all of that. Like, I'm just a fan of the game. When I watch Brock Purdy and some of these other quarterbacks that didn't come from huge programs, I guess I'm just kind of taken aback by, just how good they can be. You end up going to a program where you don't have, and I threw out these two to Jeremy because they're the ones that are freshest on my mind. It's Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Fields. They came from these big programs where they had all superstars around them.
Justin Fields. I've heard that name 3,000 times in the last 24 hours.
Right.
Don't worry, Bears fans. I have I recorded a video blanket statement for all of you.
But they come from these programs where they have, all 5-star guys all the way around. And then they get into the league and I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're seeing Tua take some steps forward. You're Justin Fields. Obviously, it's 2 years into what could be a really horrible career, but he's trying hard, I guess. But you see these guys who come from these lesser-known programs or these not-so-powerhouse programs, and they come in and they're fine. And my thought is it because they've had to work harder? Is it because they haven't had the 5-star talent? Now, I get Brock Purdy he had Breece Hall, who was a great piece, great talent on that team. Charlie Kohler at tight end. But he didn't have the Devontae Smiths and the Jackson Smith and Jigbas and he just didn't have that at Iowa State. And is it because of that he translates quicker to the NFL?
You're hitting the broad strokes, and after the break, I'm going to tell you this is the old Ron Wolf theory. It's theory time, boys and girls.
You're in the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in Western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in Western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Don't go through yet another holiday with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue, so you can move again. Enjoy your time with family and friends pain-free, with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids. And say no to pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in the new year. It's a great time to use those FSA funds before they expire. So don't wait. Call today. Appointments are available as soon as next week. Give yourself the best gift imaginable this holiday season. Say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9717 in Asheville and in Greenville. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville. And, this is just me, like, trying to search for the answer, because I'm not that three-dimensional chess analytic guy on what makes a good quarterback. But is there something, too, that some of these guys who didn't play with top-flight talent in college have had to work a little bit harder? And that means when they get into the league, when they do have talent around them, they're better served by not having the five-star cavalcade.
Yeah, that's called the Matt Leinart theory. I'm reasonably sure I could have played quarterback at USC in the early 2000s, and I could have won the Heisman. Because you had just this ridiculous wealth of talent around you. Mm-hmm. You look at a kid like Brock Purdy that, yes, he had Charlie Kohler. Yes, he had the kid Hutchinson that's coming in the draft this year, and Breece Hall. That was it. There's not another draftable player on that team. So Brock Purdy had to grind. He's not a big kid. He's not got a big arm. He's smart. He's a really bright quarterback. And look, I'll be honest with you. I had an undraftable, do-not-touch grade on Brock Purdy because I didn't think he could ever be anything more than a practice squad arm. But, I mean, look around the league right now. You're seeing a lot of these guys that athletically came from either smaller schools or they don't have the raw intangible. This is the reason that I've said I would avoid Anthony Richardson like he was on fire. Because, well, he's 6'6", and he's fast, and he's got a big arm. Yeah, but he's awful. I mean, I'm sure there's some dude that lives in Asheville, North Carolina that's 6'8", about 240, and couldn't play dead in the Western on a football field. Just because you have physical gifts does not mean you're good.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've been just constantly on a stream of conscience for the last 24 hours saying to these Justin Fields apologists. I get that he's athletically talented. He's not good. There's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I'll go to the best example of this ever. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is about as athletic as I am. He's really bright. And you put him in a system that works. That's what Philadelphia's doing with Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of arm talent, he's not in the top 40 in the NFL, and that's not debatable. I think he would tell you that as quickly as I will. So what do? You build the offense around it. And watching San Francisco, I don't think the point man really matters all that much. I think Kyle Shanahan may have outsmarted himself with Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there was that little rumor rolling around right before the draft? It got me in the last mock draft because I'd had Trey Lance going to San Francisco the entire time. This little rumor comes out that Kyle Shanahan's all in on Mac Jones, and that's who they traded up to get, and I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm going to say something that's going to sound really strange. I think both of those teams would be better if that's how that would have gone.
Oh, if they swapped Mac Jones for Trey Lance?
If Mac had gone at 3, and then at 10 you get Chicago trading up for Trey Lance, and then Justin Fields falls to 15 at New England.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Bill, who's very creative with the defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator, but that's whatever. And then just look at how that would have changed the league. Because I think Mac Jones might actually be the perfect fit for what Kyle Shanahan needs.
Okay.
He's Brock Purdy on steroids. Well, I mean, not literal steroids.
Well, I mean, I feel like he'll be available in a couple of years, so we'll see. He'll get his opportunity. If Shanahan believes that Mac Jones is perfect for his system, I got a good feeling that that's not going to last long.
Stephen Towle said, I'm 6'8", 240, and he knows it. I actually wasn't thinking of you when I said that. That was a perfect dimensional fit.
No, when you were saying it, I was thinking of you, actually.
I'll be honest with you, all I did was inflate my own height 3 inches, and I was talking about me.
Right.
I can talk about it. It's way easier to talk about than it is to actually do.
Mm-hmm. That it is.
And Bill Buttigieg in our YouTube comment said Bill doesn't like fast quarterbacks. I get that. I'll be honest with you. I would wager Nick Sirianni probably didn't love the idea of being tied to Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a talent that comes in front of you, you take it and you adjust yourself. That's one of the biggest problems that I see other teams fall into. The Green Bay Packers right now are falling into this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not adjusting what it is you want to do. You have 2 high-level running backs. You cannot just run between the guards and expect that to work because nobody's scared of your receivers over the top.
Right.
They're scared of Christian Watson, but look at his depth of target. I want to say it's 11 yards or something. It's not like he's running 9 routes.
Mm-hmm.
And it took them half the season to figure that out.
Look, a coach may not like it. They may not like fast quarterbacks or mobile quarterbacks or whatever. You're going to have to buck up, buddy, because that's where this league is going. I don't feel like there's a place in this league for the pocket passer
I
anymore.
couldn't more vehemently disagree with you if I tried.
Really?
No, because where I think this goes is you're going to see this evolution of offense, and then you're going to see another evolution of defensive coordinators, like D'Amico Ryans, like Robert Saleh. And I'm not trying to say all of the San Francisco guys, but somehow they seem to be the ones that keep getting hired.
Okay.
Avero, I can't remember his first name, the coordinator for Denver.
Yeah.
He does a great job of this. Running quarterbacks against the Denver Broncos. Did you notice they played really close with Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. Because he has no fear of that. He's built a defense that is earmarked for that. I've got one corner that can take out your number one guy. I've got edge rushers that are really fast. Nick Bonito next to me would look like a small child. He's also a bad, bad man. It's a 220-pound outside linebacker. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think you see teams like the Arizona Cardinals that have Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons? I mean, these guys would have been safeties 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's the evolution of the league. And so there is coming a time where so many teams have these rushing quarterbacks, and so many teams do these things where the quarterback gets out of the pocket. Well, then what do? You go the other way. I got a Joe Burrow that's about as mobile as I am, but he can sit in the pocket and just throw darts. And you don't have corners for that. For me, it's the most interesting thing of the NFL is you watch the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime the entire league goes one way, watch the smart coaches. They'll go the other way. They'll really quietly leak out the back door and go the other way.
Wait, are you calling Zach Taylor a smart coach?
He's much smarter now than he was 2 years ago. I mean, I'm still not look, I had him number one in the power rankings.
Right.
And I'm not, we're not all the way there.
So you're not fully sold, but it's hard to argue with the result.
I think he's doing a very good job with what he has.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that there's a ton of guys in this league that can do better.
In Joe Burrow's case, it doesn't – I mean, it obviously doesn't hurt that he has the top-flight weapons. But he's still mobile-ish. He can
not
still,
really.
He can still move.
Well, I mean, he's not concrete shoes like Tom Brady.
Exactly.
But he's not that's not a word that I would ever really use to describe Joe Burrow, is that he's super mobile.
No, but what I'm saying is you have to have that. Every guy, every quarterback coming forward, I feel like is going to have that to be successful. The faster the defenses get, the faster they can get pressure on the quarterback, you're going to have somebody back there that can move around.
And Ascendo with a great point in our comments of my comment about Mac Jones. How can you say that, but you bash him in New England? Because New England's offensive scheme, it looks like it's from Tecmo Bowl. I'm not telling you that Mac Jones couldn't play in this league. You get selected, especially if you're a first rounder, you can play. Now, you might be scheme specific, which is where the Joey Harringtons of the world go awry. You go to a place where you have no weapons, you have no line, and then you develop happy feet, for lack of a better word. Anybody in this league can work somewhere. It's a question of where is that? And my problem with Mac Jones has always been, I feel like you're in New England, which is probably the hardest place in the NFL to be a successful quarterback. You're dealing with bad weather. You got a defensive coordinator calling your plays. You don't have any high-level weapons, and you're expecting to do this in a 1995 way, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that. Not now. Now, if you had Mac in a more a more creative offense like you get with the San Francisco 49ers, then, yeah, it would be more successful. I'm not telling you to be the MVP. I just think he would be more successful.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to what Tank was saying of how do these guys come into the league that don't have the athletic gifts? They have the experience. Brock Purdy played a lot of games in college. Bill Parcells famously said, I will not take a quarterback that doesn't have 30 college starts under his belt. I'm out. Because I don't want to have to teach you on the fly. Ron Wolf used to draft a quarterback every year. There was no Spark scores back then. There was no RAS. It was, can this kid play? Does this kid understand how to evolve an offense? Does this kid understand how to read through progressions? Matt Hasselbeck. Go back and watch his college tape and tell me that anybody with an IQ above salad dressing would look at that guy and go, oh, yeah, that's going to be great. Well, he started in this league for a long time.
We all may be surprised at the start to his career that Brock Purdy has had. And I know they're not going to say anything different. But according to the San Francisco 49ers, they're not surprised at all.
Yeah, Brian Greasy really makes you want to think, I knew the whole time.
I mean, obviously you see things in players, but there is no shot that anybody in that building, John Lynch to Kyle Shanahan on down, none of them saw this start coming. And I think he's only going to add to the legend tonight on Thursday Night Football.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, Sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time. So if you've been craving those golden fries with their Mexican spices and that warm nacho cheese sauce you dip them in, Go to Taco Bell and order some today. Contact store for participation, which varies.
The bicycles. The toy fire trucks. Instead of giving gifts that kids will outgrow, invite grandparents and friends to contribute to your child's future with the UNEST app. UNEST allows parents to create an investment account for their kids that makes it easy to gift funds that can be used for college tuition, a first car, and more, just by sharing a link. To get started, download the UNEST app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
Holiday shopping is exhausting. I hit like 30 stores already. You?
I went to Verizon.
Oh, and?
And that's it.
Seriously?
Seriously. I got the new iPhone 14 Pro on Verizon, plus more Apple gifts like Apple Watch SE, iPad, and Beats Fit Pro, also on Verizon. A value of up to $1,900.
Seriously?
Yeah, the iPhone 14 Pro is perfect for my teenager. Its new Pro camera system takes amazing pictures, even in low light. She's gonna love it.
So who gets the Apple gifts?
Oh, the Apple gifts? I'm keeping those for myself.
Kinda like a finder's fee?
More like a holiday miracle.
Seriously.
This holiday, get to your Verizon store for their best deal of the year. A service plan is required for gifts. 5G phone, up to $999.99 device payment purchase or full retail purchase with newer upgrade smartphone line required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for offer details. Up to $1,900 value based on iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad, and Beats.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Be the one.
Stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill. Holy cow, Carolina's going to win. Right, that bell tower blue.
Carolina faces Oregon in the Holiday Bowl on Wednesday, December 28th. Pre-game coverage starts at 7, kickoff at 8. Right here on your home for Carolina football.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Back here in the Sportsocracy inside the Ingles Studio. Time to get just a bit outside, and it's good to know that the NFL is paying attention to the really important things. I mean, when you have, some might say the biggest worries of the NFL should be about, I don't know, what we talked about yesterday, roughing the passer penalties. Sometimes seem pretty out of control. What is the deal with delaying games so long, doing all these replays? I
think we're figuring that out.
I hope so, but it still feels like it takes way too long.
Old man yelling at clouds
to do some of these things. Oh, stop it! You don't have a problem with that.
You're in the
middle of a game, and it's just like, action stops for 5 minutes so we can figure out what's going on.
Usually I'm watching 7 games at a time. So by the night game, I'm 13 domestic lights. So
you don't care how long
patience is a virtue at that point.
Yeah, you don't care how long it takes. The rest of us do. The rest of us are tired of the constant interruptions in the middle of games. Maybe you should be more worried about putting Jerome Boger into some kind of a referee rehab program, because he seems to get worse and worse every game he does. But now the competition committee has come together and they have decided that no longer will the Las Vegas Raiders be able to have a holder on their kickoffs. If you hadn't noticed this throughout the season, they've had the holder on the kickoff.
It's a gunner.
Holding a holder.
Yeah,
not necessarily the
holder. It's not the punter that's holding
Right,
this. It's
right.
a gunner that gets up and takes off.
So they're using the holder to hold the ball on top of the tee. This allows Daniel Carlson to get a little bit more under the ball, increase the hang time on the kickoff. That way, you can mitigate any comebacks or returns or anything.
It also keeps
like
the ball from going out of the back of the end zone. It allows it to go much higher, which allows them to cover it better.
Exactly. Well, a few weeks ago, the subject came up, and Josh McDaniels was asked about it. And he said, we checked with the league. The league says we're good to go. We're not breaking any rules by doing this. And now the competition committee has decided this is going to be a rule now. You cannot have a holder put the ball on top of the tee anymore. It has to be inside the tee. It has to be in the little U-bend of the tee. You can no longer lift it up on top of the tee because it's an unfair advantage.
So here's my question. How is that an unfair advantage? Because anybody could do it.
Everybody could do it, exactly. But it's the Raiders figured it out. They figured out some life hack here. And the league's like, no, we don't want you to do that.
Well, they also figured out that they have a kicker that's got an absolute cannon.
So you can have a holder in times of bad weather. We've seen this over and over. The ball keeps falling off the tee in a windstorm. You got to have somebody come and hold it. You will still be able to do that. But now you will not be able to have somebody hold it on top of the tee to give you the extra lift on your kickoff. Again, thank you, NFL, for really focusing on the important issues of the day.
Yeah, that's really ridiculous. I thought it was genius. And had Pat McAfee not brought it up, I'm not sure anybody would have ever noticed it. He did a whole segment on how genius this was.
Mm-hmm.
Of all things to worry about. Why are we worried about
Exactly.
this? And I know what they're going to say is, well, this increases the likelihood of a return, and it makes the game more dangerous. Yeah, you're putting on a helmet and running full speed at somebody else. Inherently dangerous. What's not dangerous? Bringing back the best player in the history of your program to give you a little help around the bowl season. And with something else that I don't think a lot of people thought about. Drew Brees is headed back to Purdue. He will help with the coaching and prep for the Citrus Bowl. But that's not really what intrigues me here. There's an NCAA rule that says any coach that is granted access to be on field and assist with the prep, what else do they get to do? Recruit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and look, I talked about Ryan Walters yesterday. I think this kid is a dog and is going to be a phenomenal coach in college football. Now you not only get him, but you get Drew Brees too. These Elite 11 quarterbacks that have not committed yet, I feel like that is a great advantage for Purdue going into their living rooms going, hey, this guy's hanging around. You remember him? I think it's genius.
Mm-hmm.
That is taking advantage of the rules.
Absolutely. And at least it gives some intrigue into one of these bowl games.
I don't know that I would go that far.
You don't think so?
Does it make it more likely that you're going to watch it? Because Drew Brees will be on the headline or on the sideline doing what exactly?
I mean, if you're a Purdue fan, sure.
Well, if you're a Purdue fan, you're watching it anyway.
Yeah, are you though? Are you though?
Look, I'm going to watch
our coach.
I'm going to watch the Cheez-It Bowl, even though it's against Oklahoma and Florida State's going to boat race them.
Right. I don't know. The closer and closer we get to all the bowl games, I just go, how are people expected to spend their time? Have you looked at the opt-out tracker lately? It's every game.
Oh yeah.
6 to 7 transfer portal guys. I'd say 2 to 4 opt-out guys for every bowl game. And the transfer portal thing is almost for every team has 6 to 7 in the transfer portal. And we're over 1,000 guys in the transfer portal.
I've said I don't understand how anybody. I don't understand how any of these bowls get sponsors. How do you sell this to a company? Oh, the 10 best players in this game won't be here. And the young guys that we would probably be selling to our fan base, there's about a 75% chance they're going to be in the transfer portal, and they're not going to be here anyway. And then the ones that, we got to win in the portal, they can't play in it either. So why am I supposed to care again? Is somebody run it by me one more time? Like, why am I supposed to care?
And that's where I'm at.
New NCAA president, Charlie Baker, I'm sure he'll get right on that.
Yeah, I don't.
If you wanted me to really, I don't know that I could have believed in anybody less than Mark Emmert. But then you tell me that a sitting governor of a state whose term is ending is who you're going to replace him with? I think you found a way for me to have less faith in the NCAA than I did when I woke up this morning.
Really? It's not the way I thought you were going to go at that. But okay.
What do you think? Because he had an R next to his name? I was just going to go, yeah, let's do this.
100%.
No.
Because usually Jeremy goes, oh, well, if he's got an R beside his name, he's got to be a smart guy.
No. Oh, that's not really how that goes. I am an equal opportunity bash on both sides.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker is going to take over on March the 1st. And good luck. You got a lot to sort out here.
I would love to know how you sold this. Hey, we have this job, and it will pay you goodish money. And you have absolutely no authority to do anything because we boo-booed and opened Pandora's box, and we have a lot of problems.
Well, you had no choice. You had no choice in the matter. The Supreme Court got involved, and
yeah, because you had poor leadership that didn't address this before it became a problem. If you remember, we said this back on the Saturday show.
What were you going to do to avoid it?
Oh, you could have legislated this. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise. Because nobody I have ever talked to thought this would escalate so quickly.
Sure, you could have legislated it.
When the Ed O'Bannon thing happened.
Put them all on contracts, put them all on retainers, and yeah, you might have been able to avoid it for a little while.
That would avoid it forever. No. Because that's where it's ultimately going to end up anyway. Because you're not going to – I'm telling you right now, the contract thing is coming. It's coming whether you like it or not. Hey, you wanted freedom of movement? Great. This is a lot like free speech. Yes, you have the right to say anything you want to. People leave out that the after the comma, which is you do not have freedom of repercussion because things can happen to you for what you say. So, yeah. You get this freedom of movement, and you've created this problem with the bowl games, and the bowl games are not making as much money as they did. And what do smart, wealthy people tend to do? Find ways to keep their money coming in the ways that they're supposed to. And that's the only way I've found yet that makes any sense.
But then this all just becomes the schools trading money.
And that's okay. Right now, it's the players trading money. Right now, it's the schools are on the hook for a massive travel expense going to bowl games that nobody cares about. How long do you think that's going to happen before they go, no, we're done with this?
Oh, well, that's going the way of the dodo bird. Once we expand the playoff to 12 teams, I fully see the path where the bowl games will not exist in their current form.
I have not talked to one person in college sports in 2 years that hasn't said, something is going to have to change because this can't continue to happen. Now, you got 60 programs right now that are hemorrhaging money. That's not going to continue. So, Charlie Baker, congratulations. You went out of the governor's chair, and I'm not sure that you didn't just take a more difficult job.
Oh, 100% he took a more difficult job. Because and I get that he's a former college athlete himself. He's got like 3 kids that were college athletes. He's, obviously got the student athlete on the mind, or at least he's got the resume to show that I'm all here for the student athlete. We're going to find out. I don't know what you do at this point.
Oh, I've made that very clear. The players wind up on contracts just like the coaches. You want that freedom of movement, that's fine. You're going to have to buy yourself out.
No.
The coaches have to do that.
Your next school will buy your contract out. The players are not coming out of pocket for any of this.
I'm not so sure of that. I am not so sure of that. See, that's what I always laughed at people like you, that you said, well, the players need to be blah, 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 and you want to give them all these rights. That's fine. After the comma. All right, so now you've made them employees of the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the coach can't. You compared this to the coach. That was always the rallying cry that people like you had.
Yes.
Well, the coach can leave anytime he wants to, and he has to buy it out. And the school is not allowed to buy it out entirely. He's coming out of pocket for something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always kind of sat back and laughed and went, I don't see how you're not seeing that and how that's going to be a problem for the long snapper that wants to transfer. I mean, you get stuck on the quarterback. We always use Tim Tebow. How much money did Tim Tebow make for Florida? For every Tim Tebow, I can give you a slew of Brock Berlins that didn't. And you would have heaped money on them that was just a total net loss.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever wanted to talk about that.
And maybe that okay, so maybe that cuts down on the long snappers getting into it. The lesser guys are not just going to throw their name into the portal, not knowing they've got a place to land because they know they're gonna have to come off out of pocket for that. Maybe
it's the only way that you put the toothpaste back in the tube. And I'm not saying it's a perfect solution. I think it'll have to be tinkered with, and this falls on Charlie Baker. Congratulations. This is now the number one issue that falls on your desk on March 1st. You got to figure out something because this is pandalirium.
Mm-hmm. I think in the end it just becomes, especially for the bigger guys that get into the transfer portal, it would end up.
You got to stop worrying about the bigger guys. The bigger guys will always be taken care of. That was my side of this argument, is you're doing this for the 0.01% of college athletes that make these schools a lot of money. You're forgetting about the 99.99% that don't. Well, that's now what the problem is. Caleb Williams going from Oklahoma to USC is not the problem.
No.
The problem is that you've got Brent Venables right now looking at a roster going, I don't know what to do. Because I have 25 scholarships to bring in my guys.
Mm-hmm.
I can go into the transfer portal, but there's nothing attractive about coming here. So I'm just getting hemorrhaged because of that. And I can't put a competitive team on the field. That's where the problem lies. You will as soon as this NIL thing happened, the Caleb Williams of the world, you were never unwinding that. If you had a guy that made that much money for his school, the Drew Brees of the world, how we started this, Drew Brees would have never lasted at Purdue for 4 years.
No.
If he played in this current environment, he'd have never lasted there. You can't do anything about that. But you do have to do something about, you have made what I think is the hardest job in all of sports exponentially harder.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to lose talent, and you're going to lose guys to the NFL because they're going to look at that and go, I make more money, and my job is easier. And that is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Baker, you're on the clock because you're the one that has been given this problem and asked for the solution.
Mm-hmm. It's also the most high-profile job he could have taken outside of when his term is over.
I was today years old when I found out Charlie Baker was the governor of Massachusetts. I did not know that this morning.
Well, it's because you don't live in Massachusetts.
It's also, it's a 3-word phrase that's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, yeah, I don't care. I barely care who the governor of the state we live in is.
It's a fair point. Fair point. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Ingles Advantage isn't just about savings or the best quality food for your family. It's more than that. It's the advantage of being a part of a community.
That's why we provide over 2 million pounds of food every year through regular donations and programs like the Ingles Giving Tree, Food for Thought, and the Ingles Fill a Backpack program. It's the right thing to do, and we know that you would do the same. Ingles, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
This week at Target, score low prices and great deals on everything you need for the holidays. Find deals on must-have toys and the latest tech. Plus, save on clothing, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And get festive faster by choosing free order pickup, free drive-up, or same-day delivery when you order at Target.com or on the Target app. Deals so good, you can holiday your way. Only at Target.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
This holiday ad will be over in 27 seconds. Unlike the new Duracell battery with power boost ingredients that can last 19,976 seconds in your kid's RC motorcycle, or 6,801 seconds on your beard trimmer for this year's family photo, or 15,172 seconds on your electric frother for some holiday eggnog, and many more seconds to get more out of your holiday season. Duracell, unlike this ad, engineered for more.
This week at Target, score low prices and great deals on everything you need for the holidays. Find deals on must-have toys and the latest tech. Plus, save on clothing, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And get festive faster by choosing free order pickup, free drive-up, or same-day delivery when you order at Target.com or on the Target app. Deals so good, you can holiday your way. Only at Target.
Coffee still closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Thursday night football. San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers are a 3.5-point favorite, over under 43. I'm not taking the cheese. I know the smarts are on Seattle. I can't for the life of me figure out why. I mean, I get that Tariq Woolen, I'll get to that in a minute, is daunting. He's going to be on Brandon Ayuk. I don't think there's a lot of scoring. I don't love San Francisco minus the 3.5. It's just the only way I see this going. What I'm really in on is under the 43. This Thursday night loves going under in the first place. And this number feels like it's daring me to go over, which is why I'm going to go under. I will say this game ends up 20-10 San Francisco 49ers. And if you go to betus.com, use our promo code Sportsocracy. Not only will they give you 125% of your initial deposit, if you put in 100, they'll give you 125 in free play credits that you can use on a couple props that I'm really fond of. First one, Brock Purdy over half an interception at minus 160. I can physically not figure out how he's not going to throw one. It'll be cold. It's going to be loud. And I feel like that's the layup. The other, over 80.5 rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey at minus 130. No Deebo Samuel. I really struggle to believe that you're going to see more than 8 to 10 touches for Jordan Mason, which means the workload is going to be heavy for Mr. McCaffrey.
Take those wagers to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put into the account, up to $2,500. It is a Thursday, and normally at 4 o'clock every Thursday afternoon, we will talk to the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell. But funny thing about being in New York is there's a bunch of traffic that you have to try to get around, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to touch base with Jones today as the Tar Heels are up in Brooklyn to get ready for their big showdown with Ohio State coming up on Saturday. So, unfortunately, we will not have a Tar Heel time with Jones Angell today, but we do have some Tar Heel news that we'll get into later on in the program, revolving around the football team. They made a hire, got a new OC. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit here on ESPN Asheville. Look, this past year has been amazing for me. It has changed my life. I have lost more than 90 pounds with the PhD weight loss program, and as the year winds on, or winds down, I guess I should say, as the year winds down, you're getting ready to look at 2023, what's going to be next for you. Maybe a New Year's resolution is you'd like to lose some of that extra weight. PhD weight loss can help you do that.
And it's not just if you have a crazy amount of weight to lose. I didn't have 90 pounds to lose. I had about 40. My back had started to hurt. I was sleeping poorly, and I wasn't able to be as active as I wanted to because I had made lazy food choices and gotten a little chunky. Now, just a year into the PhD program, I'm back to my high school weight, feel fine, sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the planning program of PhD Weight Loss.
This is a program that gives you the best results you'll ever see. I have done fad diet after fad diet in my life, and none of them ever gave me these kinds of results. I lost more than 90 pounds in a year. I'm curious to see how much you can lose in the next year of your life. Make 2023 a better one. Go to myphdweightloss.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, Sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by NetSpend All Access Account. NetSpend All Access Account. Get the account designed for your everyday mobile banking needs. Banking services provided by an account established by Pathward NA. Member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time. So if you've been craving those golden fries with their Mexican spices and that warm nacho cheese sauce you dip them in, go to Taco Bell and order some today. Contact store for participation, which varies.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling?
Because I love football.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Warriors guard Steph Curry will likely be out a few weeks with a left shoulder injury. R.J. Williams says the defending champs were already scuffling.
Now it's time to see the true coaching powers of Steve Kerr, because defensively, this team is not where they were last year. You talk about losing people like Gary Payton II, Otto Porter, a Swiss Army knife. Those are two dynamic pieces of your team defensively that helped carry the load during the playoffs.
Jay Williams on KJ and Max. Curry got hurt last night against the Pacers. Mavericks big man Maxi Kleber will be out indefinitely after tearing his right hamstring during Tuesday's practice. Dallas is 1-5 in games Kleber has missed this season. 49ers and Seahawks tonight in Seattle, Week 15 in the NFL. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy expected to start tonight as San Francisco tries to wrap up the NFC West. Billy Moore, who led UCLA to a national women's basketball title in 1978, has died at home in California. She was also the first U.S. women's Olympic coach.
Coming up Friday, who needs the number 1 seed the most in the AFC? Keyshawn J. Willimax, Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
We are inside the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and of course the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go, on live or on demand on the iHeartRadio app. And it is the 4 o'clock hour here. No Tar Heel time with Jones Angel today. They're in New York, or the basketball team's in New York, getting ready for this weekend. They just landed a few moments ago, so no way that Jones can make that work trying to fight the traffic in Brooklyn, which I've never done that before, and I don't want to.
And it's not it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Mm-hmm. It can be, but it's not great.
My cousin lives in Manhattan, and some of the stories that he tells me about how long it takes him to get to and from his job sites, it just Seacrest out. I'm Seacrest out.
Oh, the bad days are bad. The Santa Monica Freeway. Yeah. You'll never touch that.
No. I lived in Atlanta, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I've sat on the expressway out there, and in an hour gone far enough that I probably could have piddled from where I started to where I ended.
It is the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to join us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. It is Thursday, though, and as we do Threadbare Thursdays, we allow you here in the Democratic Republic of Sports to throw out a topic, and we'll burn on it with you. And so this one was thrown out just a little while ago by Divine Comedy. Is really looking forward to tonight's Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers Thursday night football game. He swears I'm being ridiculous, that I think this is not going to be a close game from the jump.
I don't think you're being ridiculous. I think you're overvaluing Brock Purdy.
Maybe.
And the regression is without a doubt coming.
That's not the part. That's not the part of San Francisco that worries me for Seattle. It's the runners. It's the running game that I'm more worried about. And Seattle has shown in the
Seattle's
last
been
few
bled
weeks,
by the running game.
They are not good at defending the run.
Seattle's been bled by the running game.
I don't think it's going to be the Brock Purdy show tonight. I mean, he'll be fine, but I think this is the Christian McCaffrey show tonight in Thursday Night Football. But we shall see. Anyway, he says, here's a topic. Bleak futures. Who is the most screwed franchise going forward? He throws out Denver, the Rams, the Saints, the Bucks. Can we throw the Bucks in there?
They should be in there as well. Bill Barnwell on ESPN.com put out an article this morning of fallout from trading early 2023 NFL draft picks. And this is perfect timing because I wanted to burn on this a little bit anyway. Mm-hmm. I cannot help but think it's the New Orleans Saints because they're the one that didn't get, I don't think, the possibility of the franchise cornerstone. There's still a possibility that somebody can get what Russell Wilson was supposed to be out of him. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple people message me on Twitter and say that the coaching staff is telling Russell Wilson to stay in the pocket. If that's the case, fire them all right now.
Right.
Because if you're not getting this any better than this, you're not going to learn. But I look at New Orleans, a team that is $60 million over the cap going into next year. And you did all this for Trevor Penning, who's played 17 snaps, I think, all year as a reserve. Oof. Got a lot of really expensive talent. Oh, yeah, and you're missing that one thing. What is that one thing that teams really need? A quarterback.
Yes.
And a coach. I'm going to say this again. That Sean Payton going back to New Orleans thing is getting louder by the day.
And Saints fans would really relish the idea of that.
Well, and my intention here was to fix every one of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I went round and round with New Orleans of, how can I fix this? It's Sean Payton. Yeah, it's Sean Payton.
The way.
Mm-hmm. Take one of these developmental quarterbacks because they do have a couple day 2 picks. And there will be a few quarterbacks in this draft. I'm specifically thinking of Jaron Hall. I feel like Tanner McKee winds up there, not because talent-wise he deserves to be, but because he's so much older.
Mm-hmm.
And Hendon Hooker coming off the ACL. I feel like one of those 3 guys will be available, if not all 3, when New Orleans comes on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you bring in Sean Payton, who I've seen develop less than ideal talents at quarterback, that's probably your best path forward. Because you did hit on Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to finish 3rd in Rookie of the Year balloting.
And Trevor, I feel like it's a little soon to just say the Trevor Penning thing was a disaster.
You gave up the 5th pick in the draft. Let me make this. I'm going to really simplify this. Stop trading future first-round picks for players that aren't quarterbacks. It's one thing when you do it for Deshaun Watson, who's 26 years old and I believe is still your franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You did this for a left tackle. You do realize that if you kept that pick, there's 2 of them that are better than Trevor Penning and are going to be better than Trevor Penning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need a left tackle. Okay, well, he's played 17
left tackle, and you didn't think any way that it was going to be like this.
You have to. That's the thing. Okay, what you just said, and I hear that a lot, and that was the justification for the Rams
Absolutely.
and the justification for the Broncos. Do you keep a blanket in your car?
No, but you should.
There you go. You know why? Because something might happen where you run out of gas. Not because you intended to. Nobody's ever going down the road and just, like Kramer and Seinfeld, we're going to the end.
Mm-hmm.
No, but sometimes things happen, and you have to be prepared for that. And it's the teams that do this. Instant gratification in the NFL almost invariably is going to lead to disaster down the line. And that's kind of where New Orleans is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have some young pieces. You're also paying $28 million to Michael Thomas. And you couldn't get out of it. Short of him being abducted by aliens, I don't think there's a way of you getting out of this.
Right.
And so where do you go? You don't have any money. You don't have any draft picks. You're just done.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the only path is to turn to Sean Payton and go, Sean, buddy. If we give you $1 bajillion and tell you we're sorry and that you proved the point.
Can we give you a 40% stake in the team?
That wouldn't be that much, but
you know
we'll give you an ownership stake.
You know what I mean, though.
Tyler Cunningham in the YouTube comments said, you know who is playing right now? Tyler Smith. Yeah. That was the player I kept telling New Orleans, if you're going to do this, that's who you should.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but
right.
That's not who I am.
Yeah, there's no frame of reference that these teams ever thought they'd be picking this high.
No.
Or else these deals would not have been done.
Correct. But you have to know that that's a possibility.
Yeah, you didn't?
I didn't what?
You didn't think there was any way that the LA Rams pick was going to end up being 3rd.
No, but I killed that deal the day they did it. Mm-hmm. I cannot physically believe that you gave up 2 first-round picks for Matthew Stafford. And if you remember, my exact take was, I don't think there's that big of a difference between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff.
I remember you saying that.
And right now, that is bearing itself out.
Yeah,
but we got that one flag,
exactly.
And flags always flag. Great. That's awesome. In 2034, when you're still a dumpster fire, maybe that flag will make you feel warm and fuzzy.
And it will. It will for a long, long time. I speak from experience.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that experience, your team did this exact same thing.
Yes, they did.
You sold your soul to the devil, and now you're in as bad a shape as the New Orleans Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Probably worse.
It was worth it.
You are $40 million over the cap next year.
Yep.
Without Tom Brady.
Yep.
Because he is a free agent. You're also
And we
on
still
the
had to
hook
pay him
for $35 million for him next year. No matter what.
You kick that can down the road, it's all what is the word? POD. It's payable on death. Like you got to pay the piper at some point. We talked about the kicking the can down the road, and they were going to do it as long as it made sense to do it. Now it doesn't make any sense. And you're already past the expiration date.
Oh, yeah, and there's not really I heard, it may have even been you that said this, that Tampa in the offseason should just blow it up.
Yes.
Okay, and not to be crass here, but what pieces exactly do you think have high-level value?
Mike Evans.
And then?
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin does not.
Really?
He cannot stay healthy. Do you realize how many receivers there are in the NFL and how many are coming in this draft? And you're trying to sell me on a guy that, if we're lucky, plays 3/4 of the games a year and is really highly paid.
What would you get out of it?
4th rounder. At
That's
best.
It.
At best.
Okay.
I mean, and maybe you do that. Maybe you're willing to take the dead money. Maybe you're
what I would do.
And more power to you. You're just not going to rebuild that roster that way. Mike Evans will get you a decent piece.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably a conditional 2 that could turn into a 1.
Okay.
Because his value is roughly the same as Jared Goff's right now. I know that sounds weird to say, but it's the truth. And Jared Goff is worth about a 2nd-round pick right now.
I mean, I'm telling you, as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, you sign me up for that right now. I don't want to keep kicking the can down the road. This was always the plan. When Tom Brady's done, you're going to be bad. So get what you can out of all these pieces, whatever it takes. If you can flip Devin White for something, if you can, Tristan Wirfs, you probably get something for him.
Yeah, and see, I'm always cautious of doing it that way. Draft picks are very valuable. Assets, players are worth about 70% of what you think they're worth 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just not going to build a
I'm
roster
not saying
that
I
way.
expect to get a first-round draft pick out of Chris
No,
Godwin.
No, I get it. It's the funny thing about moving assets in the NFL. When you move a first-round pick, especially if it's in the future, I almost invariably say whoever got the picks down the line is the winner.
Mm-hmm.
If you move a player, I will almost always say it's who got the player for the pick. I think that made sense. I know it made sense in my head. So the Stafford deal where you give up the aging player and you get future picks.
Yes.
The future pick wins. If you're trading an asset, Devin White, for example, and you get a 3rd-round pick out of it, whoever gets Devin White wins.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no chance that 3rd-rounder is going to be as impactful as Devin White is. And I watch teams do it constantly and find it to be just outrageously funny.
Except for that time your team gave up Jamal Adams for first-round draft capital.
They got a future first-round pick.
Yeah, you turned that into something.
Yeah,
you're saying for mid-round picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm giving you a positional player and I'm getting a mid-round and you're getting a mid-round pick, I won.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm getting future ones, I won, and I don't care what I gave up. The Matthew Stafford 2 ones for Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff goes the other way. Who won that deal? I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to disagree with you vehemently.
For what? Say it again.
The Jared Goff Matthew Stafford deal. Who won?
Yeah, he was L.A.
It's the Detroit Lions by 1,000 miles. They're going to get a top 5 draft pick. Who's going to be better for longer? Oh, we got one Super Bowl trophy out of it. Cool. Dallas Cowboys called. 26 years later, that wears on you.
The Detroit Lions, will they win a Super Bowl?
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I don't care.
If they don't,
the Rams were good for a year. The Lions will be good for a decade.
Okay.
Lions win.
Yeah.
That's what good teams do. Desperate teams go, we got to get one because we've been awful forever. Okay, cool.
Because you know your window's closing. Mm-hmm. Green Bay should have done
But the window is closing because you did this to yourself. You traded off all the draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Invariably, the 4 teams in the NFL that have made the most draft pick trades over the last, I think it's 5 years, maybe 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
the New York Jets, the Seattle Seahawks, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what all four of those teams have in common? They're way better right now than they were a handful of years ago, outside of Baltimore, who's just always been good.
Right. But if you don't get the trophy out of it, it's all useless, right?
If the alternative is I've been 3, 4, 5 win team forever, there's a merit to being better than that.
Oh, but wait, I'd rather suck if I'm not going to win it all. Isn't that what you always say?
They did for a year. Then they got the draft pick that I robbed you blind of. And, hey, look, now I'm good. And, oh, no, you suck again.
We got the trophy out of the deal, though.
You got one, and you'll be a disaster for 10 years afterwards. I'm calling that an L.
Yeah, it's not, though. Let your team win one, and then you'll find out.
I am happier right now with my team than I have been in 25 years, and we were a Super Bowl favorite 3 times.
Mm-hmm. And at some point, it's going to all come home to roost. You're not going to be able to keep this group together.
I don't 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
You're in the biggest media market in the country, and the salary cap's about to go up $50 million. I think you'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm. As the salary cap goes up, salaries go up, too.
Mm-hmm. How high do you think they're going to go? You think receivers are going to make more than $30 million? I can guarantee you they're already earmarking that to Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm. There's a full.
They give it to him right now if they had to.
I fully see the path coming where you're not going to be able to keep all those guys. I mean, if they're all as good as we think they can be, you're not going to be able to keep all of those. It's just not. It's not going to be in the budget to do do
Yeah, I disagree.
And at some point,
I'm looking 3 years ahead of time going, yeah, it'll be perfectly in the budget. Now, will you be able to pay $50 million to a quarterback? No, but you keep missing on those, so I think you'll be just fine.
Maybe so. I've got the hardware on my side.
Mm-hmm. So do the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm good with that.
You know how delusional we call them for, but wait, it's America's team. It's kind of the same philosophy as the Rams. Okay, great, you got one. I can't befall you for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what did it cost you?
Everything. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Who else has just an absolutely bleak future going forward? We'll keep it going. Up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is stop and go due to an accident. Hendersonville Road moving problem free. On the Smoky Park Highway, no backups. Patton Avenue incident free. New Leicester Highway, no backups. And the Charlotte Highway, no delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time. So if you've been craving those golden fries with their Mexican spices and that warm nacho cheese sauce you dip them in, go to Taco Bell and order some today. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Dancing crew, trip for two, nailed the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
This week at Target, score low prices and great deals on everything you need for the holidays. Find deals on must-have toys and the latest tech. Plus, save on clothing, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And get festive faster by choosing free order pickup, free drive-up, or same-day delivery when you order at Target.com or on the Target app. Deals so good, you can holiday your way. Only at Target.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility in your vehicle and save $10 on a pair of Trico Force wiper blades now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Don't risk your safety because of bad wiper blades. Be ready for any weather. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for two at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
We're back in the Sportsocracy talking about, teams that may not have the brightest of futures. Going forward, who has, in fact, the question was, who has the least hope for the future? Talked about New Orleans.
New Orleans and Tampa Bay are my two prevailing answers.
Yes.
The Rams need to get healthy and stay together. Now, do I think you have a Super Bowl ceiling anymore? No, I don't. Because I'll be honest with you, even healthy, Philadelphia is drastically better than you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Minnesota's better than you. I think Dallas is better than you. San Francisco, I thought that was a given. They had been better than them for, at least to me, they have been better than the Rams for 3 years. Okay, you won a Super Bowl. Great. Wonderful.
You just won the biggest prize in the sport. It's not a big deal.
But it's a one-off. I am not. Think about the teams that have done that over the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You were high-level competitive one time, and then you're irrelevant for 10 years after.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot sign on board for that. But then again, I'm the draft guy. I'm biased.
Right.
I see teams trade draft picks, and I immediately go, you're going to regret that. And I'm right about 85% of the time.
You're also a fan of the game. And would it not be worth it to just be relevant once?
I mean, I've been relevant once. I can also tell you, I've been irrelevant for 11 years, and that's a long time.
Mm-hmm. I get
People don't realize there are 4 franchises in all of pro sports that have not gone to the playoffs for 11 years. Mine's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you it really wears on your ability to get hyped.
Oh, sure it does.
It takes it out of you.
Sure it does.
And that one Super Bowl, I mean, I've never had one, so I can't. I can't really speak to that.
That's why I'm saying take it from somebody who knows. Like, being relevant is cool and fun, but win it once, and you'll go, yeah, I'll trade in the next 10 years of being 5-12 or 5-13 or whatever it is now for getting that one trophy. I've now got 2, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking at my team going, mine's going to be relevant for the next 10 years,
sure.
And I'm way happier right now. Even back to the Parcells years,
mm-hmm.
when he brought in 50 veterans, and all of a sudden we had Vinny Testaverde and Steve Atwater, and we were at AFC Championship games. And then what happened? You had 4 first-round draft picks in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more fun than the Parcells years. And then Al Gross showed up. And that wasn't fun.
You're just living you're just living the build right now. And it's fun. But if you could do that one thing that's going to put you over the top, wouldn't you do it?
It depends on what it costs. See, to me, I've always said the happiest fan base in the NFL has got to be the Baltimore Ravens. But you haven't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. No, but you've been competitive in all but 2 of those years.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh Steelers, same way. I have never understood Steeler fans that rail on Mike Tomlin. You've never had a losing season. You've never had a year where in December it hurt to turn on the television. I can tell you from experience, I've had a lot of those. And there's a merit to that. But there's one of these teams that everybody thinks is just so listless and dead, and I'm not as sure of that.
Okay.
It's the Denver Broncos.
Well, it doesn't look good now.
Well, it's a standoff. One of 2 has to be rectified. It's either Nathaniel Hackett or Russell Wilson.
It's Hackett.
I believe I agree with you.
It's got to be. Because what are you thinking? Like, you made the investment, right? $240 million, whatever the number was on the Russell Wilson deal. You've already done it. You can't just tap out on it now. You have to make it work. You can't swallow $230 million and just go, we screwed up, we're done. You have to find the coach that makes him work.
And I have a theory on how you do that.
Okay.
I'm going to Giro Vero. I'm going to promote my DC.
Okay.
He's going to be my head coach because if I don't, I'm going to lose him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He will be a head coach in this league. That defense is doing some higher level things.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they have played 11 one-score games with the worst offense I think that I've ever seen is dumbfounding.
Mm-hmm.
And for once, I'm going to say I'm going to pair the coordinator or I'm going to pair the coach with a high-end coordinator. Might be one of these coaches that gets fired. Might be somebody that Russell's worked with in the past. I don't know the answer to that. But that would be – I think that's the path moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You throw a bag at somebody he's comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. You got to make it work because there's no way out. There's no way around it other than just swallowing it. Because nobody's going to make the trade.
No.
Nobody's going to trade for Russell Wilson in the state that he's in right now, and they're not going to pick up any of the money.
Well, and the risk of doing that is that I'm not sure anybody can salvage it.
Yeah.
You got to understand how bad Russ has been. Now, that little voice in my head that keeps saying that the coaches have been telling him to stay in the pocket, and then he gets concussed when he rolls out, and that was affirmation of why you don't do this. Okay, now, if that's the case, that changes things because that means this coaching staff does not understand how to use the asset that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be something more there. I guess I'm just watching Geno Smith running virtually the exact same offense and looking exactly like Russell Wilson going, maybe this was smoke and mirrors the entire time. And you could just be chasing your tail.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like a dog chasing cars. Even if you catch it, what exactly are you going to do with it?
Right.
And that might be the problem. I don't think that it is. I think the right offensive coordinator can do this, but it's not Nathaniel Hackett.
No.
And now you've got the giving up the draft pick, which hurts. And I'll tell you, as I've gone through all these mock drafts, I get to Denver and I just shake my head and go, there's just you have the talent. The talent's in the room. But you're going to have a very specific coach.
Yes. Russell Wilson, I don't believe is washed.
I do, but I believe there are coaches that can still get things out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he was ever that good in the first place. Explain to me how Geno Smith is doing it.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it was one thing when it had been a few weeks, and now he's turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's the thing. Russell did that in stretches as well.
He did.
And typically that didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be that system is grossly underrated.
Could possibly be. But I have a hard time believing that it was all the scheme, that Russell didn't play a huge role in that team's success. And I feel like he's still got juice left in him. You just got to find somebody that can bring it out.
Name me a quarterback ever that wasn't scheme dependent. They don't exist. I'll just go ahead and tell you. This has always been the example of this I used because I know the Jets and I know the people at front office really well. They were all in on Patrick Mahomes. If they had drafted Pat Mahomes instead of the Kansas City Chiefs, I promise you we would not be talking about him as this generational talent. I promise you. Tom Brady, if he had gone to the Tennessee Titans, he wouldn't be Tom Brady. It's a perfect pairing.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It's time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Everybody's trying to capitalize on, the health sector right now. If you're in that, now is the time to get everybody interested in becoming healthier. New Year's resolutions are they're a huge economic driver. And when you have a gym, you really want to get the message out there. We have a gym that sponsors us, Rogue Combat Club. And what do they talk about? What do we talk about in all of those ads? It's all about, coming together as a community and supporting one another and all of that. I don't feel like if you're trying to get people to come and work out, it's a good idea to insult them right off the bat. And one gym owner in the UK has found this out in embarrassing fashion. The PT Factory is a gym over there, and the owner of it put a big giant billboard on the side of it, trying to get people to come in. He was trying to be funny. But here's the thing, people don't like being called fat and ugly. The billboard says, tired of being fat and ugly? Now you can just be ugly. And then has the phone number, how you can get in, 24/7 gym memberships are available, blah, 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 blah. Come join us in 2023. It went over about as well as you could expect with the public, to the point where this billboard has now become the target of vandals, where somebody wrote on the bottom of it, "This is bad mental." Again, it's the UK, so doesn't make a whole lot of sense to us, but, And somebody else, they threw 2 big old buckets of yellow paint all over the sign. Because, of course, this wasn't going to work. This is a total Jeremy Greene move right here.
I
will
don't
say
think
the
I'm
same
that
thing.
crass.
And I will say the same thing about this ad that I tell people about when they're communicating with others through text messages and Facebook. You can't get across a joke just using text. You have to be very careful about the words that you choose and the manner in which you do it. So when you have a billboard with this, beautiful athletic woman working out in the gym, and it says, "Are you tired of being fat and ugly? Well, now you could just be ugly." I give you credit because it's funny, but you got to know your audience. You got to know that most people passing by on the street are not going to be happy with that sign.
Would you have been talking about this gym for any other reason? And there's the marketing guy to reel it back into, but
now, I mean, no one will. There are many people who will never go to this place just because of it.
And they probably wouldn't have anyway.
And I feel like that vastly outweighs the number of business he's going to get because of it.
I have told you this multiple times with us. Are you not afraid that people are going to be upset? Well, here's the thing. If I didn't upset them with that, I would have upset them 5 minutes later with something else I said. It's kind of one of those things of, if your target demo is this, then you should probably steer into that.
Not all publicity is good publicity.
I don't disagree with that at all. I just don't 100% know that I agree with it, with what you're doing, or with what you're talking about here.
Really? You think this is the way to get people to come to a gym?
Oh, I'm not saying I would have done it either. I don't think this is he's going to be going broke in 3 weeks. I'll bet you he doesn't. Because I'll bet you that he's got probably 500 people that went, "That was funny, and that's something that I would do, and I'm going to go work out there now."
Right. And he said the same when the story was done in the article. They interviewed him, and he said, "Look, it was probably not the greatest of ideas. However, I will say, we've had thousands of comments saying how hilarious this is. So, I mean, I get it. But you're walking that fine line.
You said you can't convey emotion and jokes through text.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever texted me, that's the reason that I throw the laughing face
Absolutely.
with the tears in it at the end of everything.
Now, see, if he'd have put the laughy crying emoji on the sign, I think that would have gone over a little bit better.
I find myself wanting to put that in emails sometimes, like, you know that's a joke, right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Tee-hee, tee-hee.
My story comes from Uganda. Apparently, the hippopotamus is a much more dangerous creature than I ever knew.
Yeah, they're not nice.
Because earlier this week, one swallowed a 2-year-old whole.
Yeah.
Swallowed the child whole. And that sounds like a horrible story, and it is. But it has a much happier ending. Apparently, onlookers saw the hippo do this, pelted it with rocks, and it spit the child back up.
Mm-hmm.
2-year-old kid. Gone.
Yep.
Back. They rushed the child to the ER where he regained consciousness and has since been released with absolutely no long-term effects whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
How many people a year worldwide do you think are killed by hippopotami? I made that word up because I don't know what the plural of hippopotamus is.
I believe it's hippopotamuses, but
hippopotami sounds much. It's more palatable to me.
It does. I'm gonna venture 233.
You're too low.
Yeah,
it's over 500 a year.
Yeah.
How many are killed by sharks? Worldwide.
278.
6.
6? That's it? Really?
Many people are attacked by sharks. Very few people are killed by sharks.
Ah.
Now, the hippopotami, on the other hand.
Once a hippo gets a hold of you, there's not much.
It's really all over but the crying because they don't tend to let things go.
No.
I do feel like as a PSA, we should be spreading the message of apparently they really don't like rocks.
Really?
That's how they got him to spit up this kid.
They just threw rocks at it?
Yeah. Ugandan police warned local residents, if you live around animal sanctuaries such as lakes or wildlife centers, watch out for the hippopotamus. Just another animal for me to be afraid of. It's exactly what I needed.
As long as you're not going swimming in the Ganges, I feel like you're not going to.
Well, here's the thing. I don't make it a habit to frequent aviaries, and yet I still don't like birds, do I?
I'm so afraid I'm going to get attacked by a hippopotamus. You realize you live nowhere near them, right? I don't care.
For now. You know what,
you're going to move to Uganda?
You know what Krampus told me? Bad things can be anywhere.
That's right.
And bad movies never die.
You just wait. That's not the kind of holiday hippo. You know.
I have absolutely no idea.
We're 100% playing that song when we come back. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound stop and go between NC 209 and US 276 in Haywood County. Airport Road moving from Rutledge Road to I-26. Traffic is stop and go. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road. Earlier accident here has cleared. On the Charlotte Highway, no problems. Check of the drive time from North Asheville to Biltmore Village via Merriman Avenue and McDowell Street. Drive time 19 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. Looking for holiday gifts that won't be re-gifted? Head to eBay Motors. With millions of parts and accessories at the right prices, there's something for every car lover on your list. And with the money you save, you can pick up something for yourself, too. Happy holidays indeed. eBaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Holiday shopping is exhausting. I hit like 30 stores already. You?
I went to Verizon.
Oh, and?
And that's it.
Seriously?
Seriously. I got the new iPhone 14 Pro on Verizon, plus more Apple gifts like Apple Watch SE, iPad, and Beats Fit Pro, also on Verizon. A value of up to $1,900.
Seriously?
Yeah, the iPhone 14 Pro is perfect for my teenager. Its new Pro camera system takes amazing pictures, even in low light. She's gonna love it.
So who gets the Apple gifts?
Oh, the Apple gifts? I'm keeping those for myself.
Kinda like a finder's fee?
More like a holiday miracle.
Seriously.
This holiday, get to your Verizon store for their best deal of the year. A service plan is required for gifts. 5G phone, up to $999.99 device payment purchase or full retail purchase with newer upgrade smartphone line required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for offer details. Up to $1,900 value based on iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad, and Beats.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
His new favorite holiday song.
Is that sung by one of the Lollipop Guild?
Yep.
What is that?
Yep, it is. It is.
I don't think Santa Claus will mind you.
She wants a hippopotamus for Christmas.
I want her to stop singing for Christmas.
Even though knowing that they are going to destroy you.
That is the worst. Like, I think I have blood coming out of my ears.
Easily on the all-time worst Christmas songs list.
Oh, that is terrible.
Speaking of, coming up at the top of the hour, it's going to be daily draft time. We did best Christmas movies yesterday, giving them the automatic bid into the Merry Madness bracket that will be dwindled down to the greatest Christmas movie of all time next week right here in the Sportsocracy.
We will be unveiling the bracket Tomorrow, yes. So if you still have suggestions on Christmas movies that need to be in on the best of bracket, get those in on the YouTube stream. Now, today we're going to do the worst Christmas movies of all time. And I very clearly won yesterday's draft based off our social medias, and I will be taking a movie at number one that's probably going to upset some of you.
100%.
It's not the one you think either, because I know you won't take it.
I don't care, because you do this. I think you do it on purpose.
I do not do it
Just
on purpose.
This is one of the most beloved movies of the entire planet. Yeah, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I think you do it on purpose.
Of every list I pulled of the best Christmas movies ever, two of the worst things I've ever consumed with my eyeballs are in the top 10 of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those will be on my list of awful.
Interesting. Can't wait to hear what Jeremy feels the rest of his top five, or I guess bottom five Christmas movies. I can't wait to see what those are. Anyhow, we'll be doing that at the top of the hour. So, yeah. Jeremy wants a hippopotamus for Christmas, and now you're never going to be able to get that out of your head.
Nope. See, that's the beauty of my brain. Control, Alt, Delete. Didn't save, it's gone.
Yeah. Just wait till we're going to be sitting here after the show, and he's going to be
Bet him not.
Bet you will. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and quarterback controversy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson was he was talking to the media, and then he came out and said that he wants to see Mason Rudolph play this week because he feels bad for him. He feels bad that he's not getting his shot with the Pittsburgh Steelers, despite the fact that he's already been the starter like 3 times with this team. I mean, I get it was in, injury situations when Ben Roethlisberger couldn't play, but we've seen this before, right? Hey, we had a Steelers fan in the chat earlier. How about it? Do you feel like Mason Rudolph really needs another shot to take over this team? Look, I get Mitch Trubisky's not good. Kenny Pickett can't get out of if he can't get out of the concussion protocol.
And that's what Deontay Johnson was saying, is if Kenny Pickett can't play.
I'm done playing with Mitch Trubisky is basically what he said.
It was a direct shot at Mitch Trubisky, and I think it is stupid.
And why?
Because I've seen Mason Rudolph enough times in this exact offense with these weapons. I've seen it. He's not good.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been good. And the best I've ever seen was the first I saw. And every time I've seen him since, he's gotten worse. So I'm good. I'm perfectly good if I never see another snap of Mason Rudolph football.
Mm-hmm.
And the unsettling part to me, why does Pittsburgh always have one receiver that can't stop talking? How does that happen? You went from Antonio Brown to Juju Smith-Schuster to Chase Claypool to Deontay Johnson. I get you're insanely talented.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to keep making this more difficult than it is?
I don't know. I don't know what it – I mean, all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Steelers are just the diva magnet. And I know there's Pittsburgh Steelers haters that will go, oh, but you need to take that back further. Hines Ward. No.
No, I'm talking about lately. Last 5 years. I don't, for the life of me, get what good you thought would come of this.
And I don't know. I mean, he was asked the question, and so he just answered honestly. And is there a major problem with that? I mean, he's not.
There is for me.
I don't.
This just made your locker room even more uncomfortable than it already was.
Yeah, maybe so, but
I have no desire to have guys like this on my team.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who, oh, by the way, do you know who sits directly in front of him in receiving yards?
Who?
It's DeAndre Hopkins, who didn't play for the first 6 games. You played every snap.
I think that's part of the frustration.
I'm sure it is.
I've got dog water choices, and I've had no luck with Kenny Pickett. I've had no luck with Mitch Trubisky. I had a pretty good season with Mason Rudolph filling in. So, yeah, looking out for me. Like, I'm not saying that's the attitude to have or that's the attitude that I like in players. I'm just saying this is Deontay Johnson being honest.
He's also one of the league leaders in passes dropped.
And really, at the end of the day, that's all I can ask you to be. Just be honest.
I will not be shocked if Deontay Johnson is the next Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver to go somewhere else and disappear off the face of the planet.
And he will. When he signs with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, do that.
Just wait.
I'll do that.
Just wait. It's coming.
I want that to happen.
He's a no doubt number one, Roger. You can already see it on the board. Oh, Deontay Johnson and CeeDee Lamb. It's going to be the greatest connection we've ever had. Maybe.
Oof.
It's going to be a whole lot of drama because diva wide receiver, that's not a new thing. Although a string of them on one of the healthiest character organizations is kind of weird.
That's the thing that's always confused me. Of all coaches that would hear this and maybe do something about it, how many are behind Mike Tomlin? I mean, I feel like Mike Vrabel probably would have a more visceral response to this, but not by much. I mean, Mike Tomlin does not strike me as the kind of guy that's going to hear this and go, "Oh, let's sit in my office and maybe play a folk song on this here guitar and see if we can't sound this out." This strikes me as Mike Tomlin's going to bring you in his office and yell at you for 25 minutes.
Absolutely.
Which is exactly what he should do, by the way. It's exactly what I would do.
I would do it. If I was the coach, I would bring him in. What are you thinking? But in the end, what does it really matter?
I just can't believe you've now done this 4 times in a row.
Mm-hmm. But in the end, what does it really matter? That's my thought. With Deontay Johnson saying this, it's not like this is a team that's playing for much. I mean,
No, but you can't have that mindset. If he's a part of this franchise, he's a piece of this that's going to be part of making it right. You can't say things like this. I don't care if Mitch Trubisky's back next year or not. I fully believe he won't be.
He won't be.
I don't care. I mean, if you're a quarterback in the NFL, are you watching that going, "Oh, yeah, I can't wait to sign up to play with that guy"? That'll be a blast.
100% it's a bad look.
That'll be a blast.
He's doing it to himself.
Mm-hmm.
So let him do it to himself.
And so did Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that anybody talks about Juju is because he's the number 1 receiver with Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
He spent a year in absolute obscurity. Weird. He wound up with Pat Mahomes, and all of a sudden, that's not the way that goes.
Like, it's not the way I would go. Normally, you're told as a player to back your quarterback, whoever that starter is going to be. Here he is lobbying for his guy. There's something to be said for that, but there's also something to be said for coach wants it the other way. Shut your mouth. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Airport Road moving from Rutledge Road to I-26. Expect heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 10 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
/L/Pro Loyalty terms for details. U.S. only.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville Outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville Outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and just a moment or so before we get into the top of the hour and the daily draft for the day, where we'll be taking the worst Christmas movies of all time after doing the best yesterday. Before we do, though, look, I feel like we can slip this in here really quickly because we're still learning things right now about the new offensive coordinator at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Phil Longo, gone. As we all know, the new hire has been made, and it's Chip Lindsey, who used to be the head coach at Troy. He was the offensive coordinator for UCF this past season. He's also been an offensive coordinator at Auburn. You remember that team with Jarrett Stidham and Kerryon Johnson? I know Jeremy remembers him. He's all about Kerryon Johnson.
I loved Kerryon.
I still love Kerryon. That team that was really good offensively, ran the ball really well, passed it efficiently. He's been the head of some really good offenses, and he has some history with pro quarterbacks or helping develop pro quarterbacks. I mean, they may not be the biggest names that you've ever heard.
Jarrett Stidham.
And Nick Mullins. But he's going to have much better prospect here to deal with when he comes to Chapel Hill to get Drake May into the league next year. So welcome Chip Lindsey, new offensive coordinator for the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll have more on that hire the next time we check in with Jones Angel when it's Tar Heel time next week.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Airport Road moving from Rutledge Road to I-26. Expect heavy delays. Sweden Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 10 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time. So if you've been craving those golden fries with their Mexican spices and that warm nacho cheese sauce you dip them in, go to Taco Bell and order some today. Contact store for participation, which varies. Staples has you covered for all your custom printing just in time for the holidays. And right now at Staples, you can save 40% on custom holiday cards and invitations. Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 12/17. Exclusion and restrictions apply. Explore more at Staples, the working and learning store.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reports Warriors guard Steph Curry is expected to be out for a few weeks after hurting his left shoulder against the Pacers last night. Curry is having an MRI today. NFL Week 15 kicks off tonight in Seattle. Seahawks and 49ers. San Francisco clinches the division title with a win. Our Adam Schefter reports 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is expected to start tonight in spite of oblique and rib injuries. The Eagles play in Chicago Sunday. ESPN's Sal Palantonio explains why Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is ahead of Patrick Mahomes in the MVP race.
Hurts has 22 touchdown passes and 10 rushing touchdowns. That's 32 touchdowns he's accounted for. And he only has 3 interceptions. Mahomes has 11. So, I mean, there's a distinct difference in the way Jalen Hurts has taken care of the football this year.
Sal Pal on Bart and Hahn. Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley out of concussion protocol. He'll be the likely starter Saturday against the Browns.
Coming up Friday, who needs the number 1 seed the most in the AFC? Keyshawn J. Will and Max Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene. Thanks, Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and, of course, locally on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy proudly comes to you from the Ingles Studio each and every day. Low prices. Love the savings. Not only can you hear us, but you can also see us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, and that's where you can get in your submissions for the Merry Madness tournament. Next week, this will play out. We will start with 32 of the best Christmas movies of all time, and we will dwindle them all down by the end of the week to just one. The definitive all-time, according to the Sportsocracy and the votes and all of that, obviously. Look. Some people have, people have different tastes. What some feel like is a good movie, others find to be completely repulsive, and it's completely subjective. Now, yesterday when we took the best Christmas movies, I didn't take all the best Christmas movies because I knew they were going to get into the tournament anyway. When you add it into the automatic bid scenario, there were a couple movies that I just had to get in there because they're some of my all-time favorites. Y'all like Jeremy's list better. I get it. I don't see how. I mean, he had Batman Returns on there.
Which is a great, legendary Christmas movie. What more do you want? It had Christopher Walken as a bad guy and Michelle Pfeiffer. End of message, repeat the line.
Not bad. Also had a lot of clowns jumping out of boxes, which I feel like would be triggering for Jeremy, but...
I don't use that word.
He's You don't use that word?
No, I don't use that word. I've never been triggered in my entire life. Except for that one time I caught my finger in the bang-bang part of a gun. That was the one time I've ever been triggered.
That's the one time you've ever been triggered.
It bled. It was bad.
Nice.
It wasn't good.
Nice. So today, after doing the best Christmas movies yesterday, we're going to do the worst Christmas movies of all time. And I feel like, I mean, there has to be a stipulation to this, right? It has to be a movie you've actually seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Because, look, I could throw out Santa Claus Gets Revenge on the Martians, but I've never seen it. I'm never going to see it. You can tell by looking at it, it's horrible. Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg. I always throw out that joke. I'm going to make you watch that movie. But after the Krampus experience...
Krampus was bad.
I'm not going to make Jeremy watch another movie that I haven't seen that I know is going to be horrible.
Krampus was bad. Bad.
So, Jeremy, since you won yesterday, you get the first pick in picking the worst Christmas movies of all time.
And for me, this was not even a debate. This is the definition of I need a quarterback. There's a franchise quarterback. This is Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence. Easy to pick the worst Christmas movie of all time. It's A Christmas Story, and it's not even kind of close.
And the groans from all of the audience. What are you talking about?
That is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And I liked the new one.
Which
the
is
HBO
ridiculous.
Max heartwarming story of he's all grown up. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was awful. I mean, genuinely, I cannot for the life of me figure out what about that makes that movie have to play on TNT 12 times on Christmas. It had no plot whatsoever.
That's not even kind of true.
It was awful.
The plot is all about the kid trying to get the Christmas toy that he wants.
And it just went in circles. And look, there's this kid, and boo, and now I'm in a pink bunny outfit. Boo. Awful. Oh.
I'm going to use a Jeremy Greene line here. That is probably the stupidest thing you've ever said.
If you told me I had to watch, I had to watch a Christmas Story again, or I had to sit at my wedding reception with every person I know wearing that bunny costume while my mother played home videos of me in the bathtub when I was a child, I'd sign up for the latter 1,000 times.
Of course, though, it does.
Frankly, I would recreate it with me as a 35-year-old man in the bathtub naked in front of everybody I know before I would watch that again.
Of course, it all makes sense because we all know Jeremy never had a childhood. And so he went straight from being, 4 years old to 38-year-old smoking heaters and drinking coffee. He never had the childhood.
It's funny you think I wasn't doing that when I was 4. You don't become this grizzled because you started doing things when it was legally acceptable, Junior.
Mm-hmm. That is one of the all-time greatest Christmas movies. And had I known that it wasn't going to make it into the tournament anyway, it would have been my number 3 pick yesterday.
But why? All right, I want you to explain.
It's a great story of a kid who wants the one toy that his parents don't want him to have. So he has to devise every possible way to get this toy to try to trick his parents. And meanwhile, you've got the ancillary stories around it of him and all his friends and being at school and the scene with the kid getting his tongue stuck to the light pole, to the flagpole.
Unbelievably stupid.
It's not stupid. It's hilarious because we all grew up with that kid who would do that.
Yeah, I was the one saying, hey, put your tongue on that light bulb.
Yeah, of course you were. You were Scott Farkas. That's why you hate this movie, because Jeremy, as the bully, got shown up by the little dorky kid who wanted the BB gun.
Frankie Cleary in our YouTube comment said, the grown man narration makes me want to take an ice pick to my eardrums. Yeah, I don't think I could have said that any better. Frankly, the whole thing, I have never questioned my place in the world more than I did in the hour and 42 minutes of worthless drivel that was A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
It is still the highest number of domestic lights that I would have to consume to watch it again. And it will forever be. Because I don't think there's a worse movie than that on the planet Earth.
And
I don't
you're
think
wrong.
you could
You're
make
so
it.
wrong about that.
I genuinely
in a world where Napoleon Dynamite exists,
I would throw my television out the window and only allow myself to watch Napoleon Dynamite every day for the rest of my life, then watch A Christmas Story
you're a
again.
glutton for punishment, my friend.
Awful.
That makes zero sense.
Genuinely awful.
Yeah. All right. Anyhow, so Jeremy loses automatically with one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time at number 1 on his worst Christmas movies list.
Awful.
Hot. Let's see.
Oh, have no fear. I've only just begun.
Oh, we know.
To poo on the movies that are awful.
All right. Let's see. Worst Christmas movie of all time. It's hard for me because, I like Christmas movies. I'm all about Christmas movies. when there's not football on my television this time of year, I'm finding some Christmas movie to watch. But there is one that I never got, and it is awful. And when it first came out, I saw that it had two guys that I'd really enjoy on the silver screen, but it just never worked for me. And it's Deck the Halls.
That's the one with Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito as warring neighbors about who can do the best Christmas light display. And, of course, it goes all crazy, and they go overboard, and people get hurt, and there's a lot of slapstick comedy in it. I just never got it. And, frankly, I think it was the worst performances of both of those guys' careers. So, to me, Deck the Halls, I don't know if it's number one, but I'm taking it number one in this scenario. And then I'm gonna go with a sequel here. But
I figured you were going to.
But I just don't know which sequel to go with.
Well, I can make this easier for you. I have a sequel on my entire list.
Mm-hmm.
I went 10 deep. I only have one. And the odd thing is, it's a sequel of one of the movies I picked yesterday.
It's the Santa Claus, to me. Santa Claus 3.
That was the one.
Is the worst thing ever put. And again, it's Tim Allen. It's got to be good, right? No. Tim Allen did one good Christmas movie. It was the original Santa Claus. And after that, every other movie Christmas themed that he has touched has been a big old steaming bag on your front porch that somebody lit on fire. And the Santa Claus 3 takes the cake over all of them.
I love Tim Allen, and I could not agree with you more. That was the only sequel I had on my list. And now I feel like you've walked me right into what I had to do.
Gross.
Because for me, there was a 1 and a 2, and you basically I took Andrew Luck with the first pick. You just let Trevor Lawrence fall in my lap with the fourth pick. So I'm taking this one. It's Elf, and it's not even kind of close. If you've never seen Elf, let me try to describe it for you. If you had two ghostwriters, and one of them was the recreational pot user that you went to high school with, whose IQ was somewhere between a tube of toothpaste and a jar of salad dressing, and you had him ghostwrite a Christmas movie with a 4-year-old, Elf is what you would get. And then you put Will Ferrell in the middle of it, who I love, and who's the dad? I can't remember his name. Oh, he's a great actor. He's the dad in Elf.
Oh yeah, Sonny Corleone. What's the?
I can't think.
If you hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
So you take two
I keep
people.
thinking Gene Hackman, but I know that's not right.
So you take two people, James Caan. It also had Bob Newhart in it, who I also love. And you take all of these people that I love, and you throw Zooey Deschanel in the middle of it, who I don't love. And you take this plot that is hard to follow, and it's just, maybe it's because I had no childhood. Maybe it's because I was born at 17 years old. I don't know. But I don't have this whimsy in me of this absolutely, how many domestic lights and recreational drugs do I have to do to make this movie make sense? And people every year, I've had 50 of them this year that take a picture of them watching it, and they're like, oh, I love this so much. And it goes from scholars, brilliant people that I know, all the way down to children, and they love this movie. And it's like the black licorice of Christmas movies, and I just don't understand what any of you see in it.
It's not
and nobody
that hard
can ever explain it to me either.
It's
They're
not,
like, oh, it's
not
whimsy.
that hard to follow.
It's it's got this whimsy about it. No, it's stupid.
Well,
and when he when he launches into the Christmas tree, I swear to you, I almost broke something in my house. I committed to watch this, and so I have to.
Wait. You thought that was the dumbest part of the movie?
That was the part where I went, I am entirely too sober for this. I'm going to set because I didn't tell you this when I did the review of this.
Uh-huh.
Here's how this went. I watched the first 25 minutes of this. Then I paused it. And I looked at HWA. And I said, is this the most god-awful thing you've ever seen in your life? And she went, no.
No.
And I went, uh-oh. Okay. And I hit play. And I went to, we have a wet bar in our house. And I didn't go for a glass. I didn't go for a rocks glass. I just got the bottle and set it in front of me. And I'm going to do this until this is palatable. And by the end of that movie, I was seeing dead relatives. Mm-hmm. And it still wasn't palatable.
Which I don't even kind of get, because you love Will Ferrell and you love the stupidest things he's ever done.
Sure do. But I need some wordy dirds. I need them to be dirty. I need there to be an adult theme to it because I'm not 6.
Yeah, and see, you
it's
don't
the
really
same
need
reason that I don't love Elf is the reason that as a 35-year-old, 6'4", 240-pound man, I don't go sit on Santa's lap because it's weird. Okay, I outgrew that at a point. I understand why children do it. I did it as a child myself. But if I showed up at that line, Santa's going to look me dead in the face and go, "Are you out of your mind?" Mm-hmm. And I felt like that's what my TV was doing to me for 2 hours.
Right.
That's a rant I've wanted to tell for 2 years, and I'm not going to lie, it felt good.
And that is the second dumbest thing that you've ever said on the show. The plot is not hard to follow, much like a Christmas story.
I never said it was hard to follow. I said it was stupid.
You absolutely, I can't even see where this is going. What do you mean? It's a guy who's a human who was raised by elves. He leaves the North Pole to find his dad. He goes to New York City, and he finds his dad, and lo and behold, life's a little different in the good old U.S. of A. than it is on the North Pole. That movie is hilarious, and I don't know why you don't see it.
And if you had taken a Mad Libs book and said, I'm going to write random adjectives in this, and then you handed it to me, it would have sounded exactly like what you just said. And you said that's the 2 stupidest things I've ever said. Mm-hmm. And I am here to tell you, I've only just begun, because I got 3 more.
He's got 3 more. It's time to take a break here on ESPN Asheville. Worst Christmas movies of all time. Jeremy just pooing in the punch bowl of every holiday lover. Can't wait to see where this goes next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 26 westbound west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Light delays 26 eastbound between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound Haywood County, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. On Hendersonville Road northbound near Biltmore Forest, an accident reported. Not seeing any major backups in the area. Sweden Creek Road southbound is stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Airport Road moving from Rutledge Road to I-26. Traffic is slow. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Dancing crew, trip for 2, nailed the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free, updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
This holiday ad will be over in 27 seconds. Unlike the new Duracell battery with power boost ingredients that can last 19,976 seconds in your kid's RC motorcycle, or 6,801 seconds on your beard trimmer for this year's family photo, or 15,172 seconds on your electric frother for some holiday eggnog, and many more seconds to get more out of your holiday season. Duracell, unlike this ad, engineered for more.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Ingles Giving Tree benefiting Manna Food Bank will be on display at Asheville outlets. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all local Ingles locations or donate online. Help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Back here on the Sportsocracy, ESPN Asheville, coming to you from the Ingles Studio, and we're in the middle of the daily draft, where today we're doing the worst Christmas movies of all time. First pick by Jeremy Greene, A Christmas Story.
Awful.
Ugh, so wrong. Then I went Deck the Halls and the Santa Claus 3.
Both also awful.
Mm-hmm. And then at his number 2 pick was Elf.
Horror awful. But I knew you wouldn't take it.
Of course not.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's universal agreement on the one that I'm getting ready to say. And I'm gonna detail the plot, and you tell me when you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's a father who's searching for a doll because his kid wants this doll for Christmas.
Oh, Jingle All the Way. I'm glad you did it, so I didn't have to.
I didn't hate this movie the first time I watched it. And then I watched it again. Not because I wanted to, but because it was on television and I was trying to go to sleep. And then I got wrapped up into, I missed a lot of this the first time. And it is the greatest mixture of horrible acting with horrible plot with just outrageously stupid, all wrapped into one.
And a completely awful, awful dad.
Yes.
That's the thing that killed me about it. Look, this is a movie that I saw in the theaters growing up. And the first time I saw it, I went, oh, that was, that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, and God, it was bad. It was bad. I thought it was bad when I saw it when I was a kid, and it's only gotten worse as I got older. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the worst dad on the planet who only focuses on his work, has no time for his kids, never makes a plan for anything. So he thinks that the way he's going to make this up to his son is by doing a whole manner of things that are not cool. Going to a store and fighting with other people to try to find it, pushing children down to try to find this toy to get to it. And then he decides, oh, well, I didn't do that, so I'm just going to break into the neighbor's house and set their house on fire. Oh, my bad. And we're all supposed to believe that at the end of this, it was just like, oh, it's all good.
It's all good now.
Because he basically, mugged the guy who was supposed to be playing the Turbo Man in the parade and stole his suit. Crimes.
There are many crimes in that movie.
Many crimes in it, and it's like It's a Wonderful Life. The bad guy never got his comeuppance in the end. Like, never did he get hauled off to jail. It was just like, oh, all is forgiven now. We're one big happy family. And it had Phil Hartman in it in a very disappointing role. He was the best part of the movie.
Oh, without a doubt.
Phil Hartman is the neighbor who's trying to, ease in on the woman. Yeah, that was a bad movie. Okay, so that's the first good choice that you've made in this draft.
Oh, don't worry. I have two more that I feel very sure are going to upset some people.
Mm-hmm. I understand that not all people are fans of pro wrestling entertainment, but those of you who are and were alive during the mid-'90s, you may remember a little movie called Santa with Muscles. And that, my friends, comes in at number 3 on my worst Christmas movies of all times list. This stars Hulk Hogan as a billionaire who, at the Christmas season, falls into a trash chute and suffers some kind of a brain injury. And now he believes that he is Santa Claus. And he, with his 24-inch pythons, are going to defend Christmas from another evil millionaire who wants to take it over. It is as bad as my description of it.
I've never seen it, but your description was awful.
It's absolutely terrible. Santa with muscles. Don't waste your time. Not that I thought you would. But if you did waste your time back in 1996 on watching that movie, then there should be a class action lawsuit, really. We should be suing someone, whoever brought us that big grossness. And then I'm going to go with another movie that came out around the same time. It might have been a year or two afterward. But this was part of the whole, hey, you know that kid who did the Lion King voice? And he was on that TV show that we really, really liked with that guy who's really fun. Oh, Tim Allen. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in a movie called I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah, it's not good either.
No, it's terrible. It's bad acting. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, he may have been cute, and it might have been on the Tiger Beat magazines or whatever that was when we were kids, but he's not good at acting. And we found out very quickly that he's not an A-lister. But they always tried to push him as such. Or Disney did anyway. Invested a lot of money in that kid and never got really any return out of it. But I'll Be Home for Christmas is about a self-centered kid trying to get from California to New York before Christmas because if he can make it by Christmas dinner, his daddy's going to give him a Porsche. I mean, doesn't that just really hit a chord with you? Gives you all the good, feelings inside. If you play like you like us around the holidays, I will give your spoiled tail a car. Not really sending that warm, fuzzy Christmas message. Plus, it was just a horrible production. I'll Be Home for Christmas, starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas, comes in at number 4.
Oh, so that means I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there will be people that don't like this. My first one is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, stop
with Jack Skellington. And it's awful. It's another one of those that I say I don't do ayahuasca like Aaron Rodgers, so I didn't get it. It's very macabre, but not in the way that I would like. Because you would think I would have liked this movie.
No, I wouldn't.
It is as awful as I thought it would be to that power.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take out terrible I thought it would be and square that, and that's how awful it was. That's one you like, isn't it?
Oh, I love that movie.
Okay. For why? For why do you love that movie?
It's great animation. The music's good.
Okay, so do
The
you love
characters
every
are fun.
Pixar movie? Because that's great animation.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
That answer neither surprised me nor was it right. You're a 40-year-old man.
Of course.
Okay. Moving on.
What?
And the last one, and I had this reaffirmed because my wife was watching this when I came home the other day. It's Jim Carrey's version of The Grinch.
Oh, damn it. Why didn't I think of that? No!
Yeah, that is horrid.
It is horrid.
It's horrid.
Oh,
and they
man.
add elements, and then the mayor's wife is in love with the Grinch. It's like, no! This was a great cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you took it, and you did bad things with it. And I don't like how this ended.
Man.
And I can't emphasize this enough. I cannot stand Jim Carrey. Just his face makes me angry. And then you put green makeup on it and make him furry and weird, and I like him even less.
Now I'm mad because that is one that I absolutely despise.
Woo! I actually thought you were going to be mad about that.
No. That is the worst. I thought it had a chance too. I think that's part of it. The part of the thing is like, ooh, Jim Carrey, this could be fun. And then it just wasn't. It was awful.
Yeah, it was bad.
The backstory was terrible.
Yep.
The little kid went to class and he got bullied, and so then he went and lived up on the mountain.
Like, why did you let the little kid go live on the mountain?
Right. Like, how bad are you people?
Like, you should be married to Arnold Schwarzenegger from Jingle All the Way.
Exactly. In this one, the Who's were horrible people. And the Grinch,
worst.
And the Grinch was justified in going to live on the mountain. And it even justified the acts of him coming back to steal Christmas from all the people who terrorized him as a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no qualm with anything you just said.
Yeah. Okay, last pick here in the worst Christmas movies daily draft. Trapped in Paradise. This is a movie with Dana Carvey and John Lovitz and Nicolas Cage. All three guys who I have enjoyed their work over the years. Not all of it, obviously. They've all had major stinkers. But this is a story about the three guys who go into a town to rob the bank. And they go in to rob the bank, and then a snowstorm comes, and they can't get out.
How long did they take to rob the bank? I mean, if a snowstorm traps you inside a bank, then either you were at the bottom of an avalanche.
They slow rolled it. They were planning to go in the middle of the night or something. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie because it was horrible. 1994 is when this movie came out, and it was supposed to be one of those funny, kitschy kind of 1990s movies, and it just landed flat. The only movie I think I've ever seen Dana Carvey in that I liked was Wayne's World.
Yeah, that plays.
Trapped in Paradise is really, really awful. Not as bad as the other four on my list, but it definitely needs to be mentioned.
Also not as bad as A Christmas Story or Elf, which were
those
were the two no-doubter. That was the Duke and Carolina, and they're just on a collision course for each other.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day after we come back here on the Sportsocracy.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Also very busy. 26 westbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound crawling between Brevard Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound Haywood County stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is stop and go. Hendersonville Road, southbound, stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Airport Road, moving from Rutledge Road to I-26, heavy delays near Avery Creek. Boulevard Road, northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Cheesecake Factory. Give the gift of Cheesecake Factory. Through December 31st, get a free $15 bonus card for every $50 gift card purchased at thecheesecakefactory.com or at any of the Cheesecake Factory restaurants. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
Try great tasting Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure Max Protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For more information, including consumer survey details, please visit Ensure.com.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall, well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville Outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in Western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville Outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in Western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
We are the Sportsocracy, the Democratic Republic of Sports, here on ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
There you go. Don't do crimes. He's still in the fog of horrible movies.
Oh, I'm still thinking about Elf. It's so bad.
I'm going to watch it tonight when we get home. When I get home.
I don't know why you would do that to yourself.
Because it's awesome.
There's a wiffle ball bat in the back of my truck. I can hit you with it a few times.
I don't understand your hate. I don't understand your hatred for Zooey Deschanel either, because it's
not
the
a
highlight
hatred
of the movie.
It's not a hatred. I've never understood it.
Her voice is amazing. Anyhow, yeah, definitely going to watch that tonight. And well, especially after the San Francisco 49ers get up by 30 in the first quarter on the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'll be watching Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football. Yes, we'll talk some more about the game here before the show is over. But time to talk about the stupid criminals of the day. Don't do crimes, and this is let's see, Bergen County. This is in Pennsylvania, I believe. Anyhow, or no, New Jersey. Excuse me. I knew it was somewhere up there, up north. So a woman got caught shoplifting at the Walmart.
The Walmart.
Yeah, which is obviously never a good thing. Don't do crimes. Don't steal things. But maybe you're in enough trouble already for shoplifting. You shouldn't add child abuse to the scenario. 23-year-old Jamira McDaniel was being arrested by police when she took the child that she was with, 2 years old, placed it in the floor in front of her, and punted her child across the floor. For what? What message is that? Are you trying to send with that? They say it was one of the weirdest things you'd ever seen. This woman is being arrested for shoplifting and then drop-kicked a 2-year-old. And, of course, child taken away. Now she's facing much worse charges than she would have just for trying to steal some bras. Don't do crimes. And don't hit children.
My story is also about something a parent shouldn't do. Kendra Gale Licari, she's 42 years old. She was charged Monday with 2 counts of stalking a minor, 2 counts of using a computer to commit a crime, and 1 count of obstructing justice. She started a cyberbullying campaign and a catfishing campaign against her own child and the boy she was dating.
Oh, really?
This is not a good person, and it gets worse as I go along. She was the daughter's basketball coach at her high school. The daughter reported that she was being cyberbullied to the administration at her high school. So they got on the rabbit hole, and they start figuring out there's something weird here. So they turn it over to local officials. Local officials start chasing the IP address, and there are blockades and different things. Well, they finally figure out it's her mother that's doing this. There were 349 pages of harassing text messages and social media messages from the mother to her own child. You are a horrible human being. And no matter what they do to you, it is not bad enough.
Wow. That makes Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way look like Danny Tanner.
Bingo. Just horrid. And there's the craziest part, they never even figured out why she did it. She admitted that she was the one that did it, but never told them why.
Just out of pure meanness, I guess.
Just a horrible, evil little person.
Absolutely evil. To torture your own child in that manner?
And here's the 5 counts carry up to 25 years in prison.
Good.
And I hope she does every second of it.
Absolutely. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and this weekend in the NFL, we got some primo matchups. But
you got a full day of Saturday games, which I'm very excited about.
We have one game that could be very, very interesting, and it's pitting the Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills.
And it's going to be in a snow globe, y'all.
And so, of course, everyone's asking that question. How's Tua Tagovailoa going to be able to beat the Buffalo Bills? I mean, they already beat them once this season down in Miami. And remember how the weather had an effect on that game? Remember how dead the Buffalo Bills looked at the end of the game?
Well, because it was like 100% humidity and
Absolutely.
It was 90 degrees.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be almost the exact opposite, as it's going to be around, 28 degrees, I believe is what I read around kickoff time. There will be snow in the area, and it could get worse. The forecast could get worse by then, where it could be whiteout conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And that spells a lot of fun for one team.
The Buffalo Bills.
Not going to be so good for Tua Tagovailoa. But as the week has gone on and the forecasts have gotten worse and worse and worse for this game, it keeps coming up to Tua. And then finally, during his press conference, after about the 4th or 5th question about the snow, his response to the last question about it was hilarious to me. Because he said, guys, you do know it snows in Alabama, right? Uh-huh.
Okay. I mean, in theory, that's not true.
No, it's completely true. It has snowed in Alabama before. But I guess he's trying to deflect from, can you play in frigid temperatures with, I practiced when it snow flurried once in Tuscaloosa? Because there's only one time on record during his time in Tuscaloosa that they could track back to, oh, yeah, it did snow. And it was like on a random Thursday when they were preparing for the bowl game or for the playoff or whatever the game was. That's the best you got.
This is a nightmare scenario for Miami. Look, I've always said the impact of snow on football games and the ability to throw is grossly overrated. I've always been told snow is less, the effect of that is less than rain is. But that kind of goes out the window when you have 20-mile-an-hour winds. Because now getting the ball out of your hand is very difficult. And for it to go where you expect it to go is even more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the reason this is a huge problem for the Miami Dolphins. What does snow mitigate? Speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Miami has. You're predicated on speed. So that takes your one offensive advantage away. That's not a problem for the Buffalo Bills. Because I could see a path that Josh Allen has 22 carries in this game.
Yes.
It wouldn't shock me in the least.
Mm-hmm.
The worse this weather forecast has gotten, the more likely I find it that Miami doesn't just get beat, they get slaughtered.
It could.
This was my
happen.
biggest fear when Miami put this team together, is if you get into one of these snow games, there is nothing positive about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Tua Tagovailoa also, I mean, he's played in 4 games that have been bad weather games, cold weather games. He's never played in one that's been below freezing, by the way. But in the 4 worst cold weather games that he's played in, he hasn't won any of them.
Nope.
And he hasn't really performed well. 2020, he had 2 of them. He was at the Broncos, and he was 11 of 20 for 83 yards and a touchdown.
That's not good.
No. 2020, they got shellacked by the Buffalo Bills, 56-26, in a game where they threw a billion times. He was 35 of 58 for 351 yards, threw 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions.
If I remember correctly, they got way behind in that game.
They did.
Very early.
They did, and they had to throw. So I get that skewed a little bit, but still, the outcome, not good. 3 interceptions, pretty much the reason you were blown out in the first place. And then 2 games in 2021, one again at the Bills where he did not throw for a touchdown pass and threw an interception. Same story when they played at the Tennessee Titans last year. And a game that they lost 34-3. Now, is this team different? Yes. Does he have better weapons? Yes. Is he a better quarterback because of it? Yes.
But I would argue all of your advantages are mitigated in a snow game like this.
Mm-hmm.
I should tell you everything you need to know that Buffalo's a 7-point favorite in this game. And there's money on Miami.
Mm-hmm.
A considerable amount of it. I think it's stupid money. I think you're throwing money at something that you shouldn't.
I mean, you're taking the shot. They did win earlier this season, but again, it was at home. It was in basically the middle of the summer. It was a very hot time. Somebody mentioned in the comments that playing in the heat is a physical impact. Playing in the cold is a mental impact. Yeah, there are physical impacts of that as well. I mean, you're too cold, you're too stiff, the ball feels like a brick in your hands. There's a lot of physical things going on, but yeah, it is. It's also a mental game in the cold weather. I didn't like him to begin with.
I didn't either.
So I'm not, I'm not hinging like, oh, it's because of the weather that they're going to lose this game. No, you were going to lose this game anyway. But also the fact that this past week they played in L.A. and they had heaters on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And it was 50 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do when it's 28 degrees and there's snow blowing around you and you can't even hardly see the field? If that is the scenario, then I don't know that there is a path for you to be at all comfortable in this game.
There is a path that the Miami Dolphins finished this season 1-5 in their last 6 games and missed the playoffs. And it wouldn't shock me in the least.
Mm-hmm.
it will not shock me in the least. Because you still have another game in Foxborough, too.
They do.
And that fun little cold snap that's coming through here, yeah, it's going to be in Foxborough when that game happens.
On
so
New
that'll
Year's
be
Day.
2 of these that you have to play through.
Mm-hmm. They got the Bills this weekend in a snowstorm. You got the Packers at home for Christmas. So, that's a game you can win. And then you got to go to the Patriots, and then you got to face the Jets. And we're going to be fighting for a playoff spot.
And that Jet game could be a win and you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That Jet game could be a win and you're in, and I don't like Miami in that game. I haven't, and I probably won't. Because that heat spell that Buffalo had to deal with, the Jets don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cold weather team that now goes to Florida, and this is going to be like playing spring break for them. Miami, you better. I'm just telling you, you better. You better represent yourself well here, because there is a possibility that this goes down as one of the great choke jobs in NFL history.
And then we'll be talking about a completely different story about this team going into next year. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, Jeremy's going to be mad.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound is crawling between I-40 to just east of Brevard Road. 26 on the westbound side, delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound, expect delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Hendersonville Road southbound, stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. In Hendersonville near Yale, US 64 Brevard Road at Brightwater Heights Drive, delays both directions. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The rumors are true. Nacho fries are back at Taco Bell for a limited time. So if you've been craving those golden fries with their Mexican spices and that warm nacho cheese sauce you dip them in, go to Taco Bell and order some today. Contact store for participation, which varies.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
In the past year, I've lost more than 90 pounds with the PhD weight loss program. PhD has helped me learn healthy nutrition. They've helped me learn a better way to live, how to get more sleep, how to get more active, and obviously how to put only the good things into my body. I never thought there would be a program out there that could give me the kind of results that I have seen with Dr. Ashley Lucas in this program.
I did not have a ton of weight to lose. I had just gotten very lazy in my food choices, and I got a little, say, chunky. In just under a year on PhD, I have gone from one of the highest weights I've ever seen back to my high school weight, and I've slid all the way into a brand new wardrobe thanks to the planning program of PhD Weight Loss.
And if you're like me and you struggle sometimes to find motivation, that's why they have a group of dedicated health coaches that will not only help you out with the problems that you're having, but they will help keep you motivated throughout the process. It's myphdweightloss.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Dirty perky shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
I'm going to wager a lot of you probably don't know the name Mandy Rose. I knew who it was, but I didn't really know much about her before the last 24 hours. Well, she was the women's champion in the WWE. Well, over the course of the last few days, she lost the title, and then she was fired because they found out she had I don't remember the name of the service, but it was basically an OnlyFans account. The one who decided to take the title off of her was Shawn Michaels, who I grew up loving, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out you once did Playgirl with the belt over you in a risque fashion.
Much like he wants to do with the Beer City's best fantasy football
Correct.
belt.
And when I win it, I will. This is maddeningly inconsistent. And WWE wants to sell itself as, well, we're PG now. You might want to tell that to the guy that owns the company because his own personal interactions scream that that's not the case. But he stepped down. Stop. Just stop. You can paint yourself in any picture that you want to. You can say you're this. You can say you're that. For the last 50 years, you haven't been. This is the same group that that I grew up with Degeneration X. So you can try to put yourself on the moral high ground. You're not. And all things like this do is make you look stupid. I'm mad.
It was called Fan Time, by the way.
I had no idea what it was. And frankly, I didn't care. It's maddeningly inconsistent.
It is.
Go back to the 1990s and how this company became popular and survived, and then you do this?
Beer drinking.
Stop.
Beer drinking and bras and panties. That's what it was all about. Monday night. That's how they won the Monday Night Wars.
There are certain people in life that just can't take the moral high ground, and Vince McMahon is one of them.
100%. You are in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, and guess what? We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And you know what tomorrow is?
Football Friday.
That's right. We'll have all your picks for the weekend. We'll play Beat the Chief with Asheville Police Chief David Zach. And, yeah, Jeremy won last week.
Sure did.
We'll see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder numbers pouring into the Carolinas into the weekend forecast. We're talking some 20s here starting Friday night through the weekend. And if you like cold, you're going to love our extended forecast. Let me tell you, before Christmas, we're talking the potential for some single-digit cold Thursday night, Friday morning, and into Christmas weekend. 30 degrees in the valley tonight, sunshine Friday, high 44. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. 26 eastbound delays between I-40 and the French Broad River. 26 on the westbound side, slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound Haywood County, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mules Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road, stop and go. Again, Brevard Road north and southbound, stop and go between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Hendersonville area near Yale, US 64 Brevard Road at Brightwater Heights Drive. Delays both directions. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. All we do
are Brakes for Less.
The Sportsocracy